left Coldfoot back there. It's 47 miles back. Getting that time of year where the temperature gets up during the day enough to, if you get some sunlight on this road, it melts it off a little bit, or it turns it into slush. And then as soon as the sun goes down, it freezes back up and turns into an icy mess. Now it's 12 above right now, Fahrenheit. It's fairly chilly. I know it got up to 31 in Coldfoot back there yesterday. But it doesn't have to get above freezing. All it's got to do is get warm enough. You can get in the 20s. If you get some good sunshine on this road, it'll start to melt it off. So we're going to come up to the shelf up here, which is a pretty steep climb. And I'm really hoping it isn't icy. If it's got snow on it, that's fine. I'm really hoping it isn't icy. Otherwise, we'll be chaining up. We'll be chaining up for it and for Adigan as well, probably, if it's icy. We're going to find out here pretty soon. That's the bad thing about this time of year. You know, the dead of winter, it's not going to get above freezing up there. We're over 100 miles north of the Arctic Circle. It's not going to get above freezing up here in the winter. But it's April now. And so you're getting these, it's still getting fairly cold at night. I think it got down to like 5 degrees down in Coldfoot. But then during the day, you're getting some warmer temperatures. Like I say, they may not get above freezing, but like I say, they get in the 20s or low 30s. Yeah, you can still have problems. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we don't have to chain up. It's an uneventful day. We get up to Prudhoe Bay and everything is fine. It's a good boring ride. It's going to be bumpy, but hopefully boring. Hopefully we won't be thrown into chains. I really don't like throwing chains halfway up a hill. That sucks. What sucks even worse than that is getting halfway up a hill and then sliding backwards. That really sucks. So we don't even want to think about that. But it happens. It hasn't happened to me yet, knock wood, but it's happened to a lot of other drivers. Off and on all morning. Not anything real heavy. Somebody. Surprised David in front of me hadn't said anything. He must be on the phone. I think he's got Starlink in that truck, so I don't have a signal. I think he's got Starlink, so he's got a signal. Yeah, it looks like Alaska West. where at least, half your wheels are on gravel, it's not too bad because you can get some traction. Came up here one day going up the shelf, and there was a Canadian that was spun out halfway up, and he was taking up almost the whole road. We could barely get around him. Of course, if we had to stop, we'd just probably spun out ourselves, but as long as you keep your momentum going, you're good. But the Canadian, I don't know, a lot of these guys try to run up here with slick highway tires, and it's not going to work. You got to have traction tires, unless you're planning on chaining up, a lot, a whole lot. Pretty decent time so far. We've been able to run about 50 mile an hour, 48, 50. It's not bad for this road. It's not bad through here. It's kind of bumpy a little ways back, and it'll get bumpy again. It'll get rougher and rougher the warmer it gets. Taking care of it on the Dalton Highway, and oil field companies are taking care of it on the North Slope. They do a good job of taking care of this road, considering, they can only do so much. You are in the Arctic, but they do a decent job. Before this road was built in the 70s, no one really thought you could build a road up through here. But here we are, here it is. It's been 50 years. working on this road, or they're constantly plowing it, or you know, they're doing something. They're blading it off. In the dead of winter, they're pouring water on it to freeze and make an ice road out of it, and then putting snow on top of that for traction. Once it warms up, they'll start doing whatever maintenance they need to do on it. It's the only way you get things up here to the North Slope by truck. I mean, there's no train that comes up here. So, this is it. Unless you fly it in. Anything going the other way about what it looks like. I haven't heard anything negative, so I haven't heard anything about anybody spinning out on any hills, any grades. So I got a check engine light on in this truck. This thing's got ghost codes in it, man. The guys at the shop have cleared these codes out. They're old codes. Clear them out and then they pop back up. Not even no stress over it. I think this cold weather up here does something to the electronics. So it makes some of these sensors go haywire. Same thing with the reefer. I'll get a code every once in a while in it and I'll clear it out, fire it back up, and it doesn't come back. I think it's just depending on how cold it is. It's not that bad. It's 15 out here right now. It's not that bad. When it's like minus 20 or 30, sometimes the stuff will throw codes, truck or reefer. But this code here, this check engine light here, I think it's probably some old ghost code. It just keeps rearing its ugly head. It is something important, oh well, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, it's 300 miles to a repair shop, so back down in Fairbanks. Shelf. Now, from what I can see way back here,
northbound to the shelf
looks, I see brown, like there's some bare spots on the road, so that would be good. Lock in my axles, back off a little bit, give him some room. Like I said, he's a bit heavier than I am, and I don't want to catch him halfway up. Curve up here anyway, so you really can't get any speed up per se for it. See anybody coming down it, and I'll go ahead and hit it a little bit. Steep, man, it'll suck the power right out of you. Let me go ahead and turn my engine fan on so it doesn't kick on halfway up. There goes David up the hill. If he hits a slick spot, he'll let me know. past the shelf. And as you can see now, we are past the trees. There are no more trees after the shelf. You got, you know, these bushes and things like that, but no more trees. So that's it. I appreciate you watching. Appreciate a like and a subscribe. Thanks for watching.